Welcome back to Lisa's Family Table. Boy, do we have a treat in store for you today, right, Russell?
Yeah, we do. I'm cooking with the steak queen. It's really a treat for me.
Well, I always love cooking with you. You're my barbecue king. But having said that, because Russell and I together won the World Steak Championship and overall World Championship, we're always asked, well, how do you cook a great steak? And we've got lots of videos out there showing you different steak recipes, different things that we cook. But today I want to break it down. We want to take an engineer mindset, which is what I am, and say, what are the things you have to do to make the perfect steak? So for us, I'm breaking it down to 5 things. And we're going to talk about the 5 things in this video, this how-to video. So number 1, pick your cut of beef. We're going to put a link below into our Steak 101 video where we walk through the various cuts of beef and the types of beef,
right? Whether
it's Wagyu, whether it's prime, whether it's choice. And we're going to cook some choice today, and we'll talk about that in a minute. If you follow these 5 steps, you can make a choice steak taste great. So step 1. Step 2 is bring it to room temperature. So we've brought our steak to room temperature. It's been out for 45 minutes already. You want to be out of the refrigerator from anywhere from 30 minutes to no more than 2 hours. The reason I say no more than 2 hours is because that's when it becomes unsafe. You can have bacteria form and things like that. And there's so many variables that play in. You could be really hot outside, your house could be hot, cold, etc. So a good rule of thumb is 1 hour. I like to do 1 hour. That's safe. Third thing is season liberally. Okay, so you can see this steak is 1.5 inches thick. It's a lot of meat, you need to season it. And we always season with our steak rub, which is the perfect balance for any cut of beef. So season liberally. The 4th thing is what's called the My Artifact. So the My Artifact is where the heat hits the beef or any protein and it starts to create a golden crust. That golden brown deliciousness is flavor. A lot of people think you have to sear beef to sear the moisture in. That's actually not true. The reason it tastes better is because that golden crust is flavor. And there's all kinds of opinions on this topic that could be debated for days. If you put it in a cast iron skillet, you get a more uniform My Artifact. On the grill, you might get broken grates because you're using a grill grate. I think they're both delicious. I think it's just the execution of it that's perfect. And my husband is going to show you how to grill this steak perfectly using our grill grates. When we grill, it's always grill grates. There is no other way to grill. Number 5, true of any protein, is let it rest. For a steak of this size, you want to let it rest for 10 minutes. What happens in that 10 minutes is the juice redistributes itself inside the meat. If you cut it right away, all that juice runs out and all your hard work, step 1 through 4, is ruined. And so if you want it to be juicy, let it rest. So that's step 1 through 5. So let's talk a little bit about the steaks that we have here today, right?
Yeah.
So these are ribeyes. And this just goes to show you, these are all choice cut, they're ribeyes, and they're all very, very different. And I want to walk you through some of the differences. So this, of the 3, is my favorite choice, and this is the one we're going to cook. And it's because it's what's called a tri-heart. So this is the spinellus, or the rib cap, which is the best part of the best steak. And this is also equally tender. And then you have this part here. So this is the tri-heart. So you're going to get all of this here, which is going to be super flavorful. You've got some marbling because this is choice cut, and that's the difference between a choice, a prime, and Wagyu is the amount of marbling. So even though I don't have a lot of marbling here, but because this is a tri-heart, I'm still going to have a tender, juicy steak. This steak here has a good size, well, actually, it's got a spinellus. I wouldn't call it good size. It's right here is the spinellus. Okay, so spinellus here, spinellus here. So you can see why this is my first pick of the steaks if I was looking. This is still pretty tender here, but this is the rib cap. Now, some places will cut the rib cap off and sell that for you. Snake River Farms is one. Here locally, we have Claybrook Farms that has that. And I like to roll that up, tie it, cut it the size of a fillet, and cook it. We'll show you how to do that. I will say it's super rich, but My neighbor Jody, my dear friend, said it was one of the best steaks she's ever had. So we'll show you that one. And then this steak here also has the spinalis on it, but it's equally not that great. So like if I look at these 3 steaks, I had to rank them. I'm picking this one first, probably picking this one second because like when I'm feeling it, even though I have a spinalis, this is still pretty tender. And you know, you can tell this one has a little bit more marbling, but these are choice cuts, so these are not gonna have a lot of marbling. They're not prime. So we're gonna cook the tri-heart is our choice. So we're gonna put these here. Let me grab a napkin. And you don't have to do this. I'm just gonna trim it up a bit. If we were cooking this in a competition, we would trim it considerably, right? We would trim it, we would tie it. You know, you can cut this off. This is a perfect dog's treat here. We always cook this. This is like you cut it up, your dog. That's why our dog is so loyal. He loves us because we can't feed him steak. You just, you know, trim some of the pieces that you don't like. And then this fat here is hard, so it's not really going to be enjoyable to eat. If it was softer fat, I would say leave it, but you can see it's a harder fat. So you just have, you know, and you can put that on your grill and let it melt on your grill. Season it a little bit. We're actually going to use duck fat, so I would call that the 5 steps to a perfect steak plus a great recommendation, which is use duck fat. And we have a duck fat spray. And you can buy that at Grill Grates as well. Our products are available on grillgrates.com. Okay, so that's looking great. I think I might tie it too, just to make it look even prettier while we're showing them. We're taking time to be more specific about it. Okay.
I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah, I'm gonna tie it a little bit because you got these little pieces. I don't want them to come loose. Okay, some butcher's twine. This is like totally optional. I'm doing it because we have time and we really want to show you a pretty steak. When it's resting, you want to treat it with some butter. So the resting phase is when you take it off the grill, you put some butter with it. We've got some unsalted butter here that we're going to do that with. And so we're going to do a little bit of a butcher's knot on this. So you bring it around, all right? Loop it through once, loop it through twice. If you do that, you don't have to have somebody's finger holding it. Okay, tie, and then finish it up. Now, so that's step 1. We've selected our beef, we've selected the tri-heart. We're going to our step 2, which is we're going to season liberally. Okay, this rub is perfect. It's always balanced. And like I said, you really want to be liberal here. This is a thick steak. And we want to, you eat the whole steak, including the edges. So we're going around the steak. I'm not being shy. Okay. I'm going to put some in my tray. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to roll my edges on it. Okay. Rolling around. Because I'm going to eat the whole steak, including the edges. That's why I trimmed some of that harder fat off. All right. So on step 2, season liberally. Ideally, when you pull it out of the refrigerator to bring it to room temperature, you would season at that point. If we were to season this in 20 minutes and we were doing a time-elapse video, which we may do that the next time, where if you were to literally put a clock on it and you would do a time-elapsed series, you would watch around 20 minutes, you would start to see moisture forming on the outside of the steak. And by the time you get to 30 minutes, you're gonna start to see that go away, because what happens is the moisture comes out and then it goes back in. And why that's important is because if I'm just seasoning the exterior of the steak and then I cook it right away, I'm gonna have great flavor on the outside and I won't have as much flavor on the inside. By allowing it to sit that extra time where the moisture comes out and goes back in, what it's doing is it's taking the seasoning back in with it. And so as you're bringing it to room temperature, let it sit with the liberal seasoning, right? So pull it out, step 1, liberally season. I feel like it needs just a little smidgy more. And you're gonna take this out and we're gonna grill it, right?
We are, we're
We
gonna
got the
grill it.
PK.
I got the PK, and I'm using Kingsford charcoal today, using hard briquettes. I had it up a while ago. I just poured it in. We were at like 500 degrees on the surface temperature, and I imagine it'll be closer to 600, 650.
Which is what we want.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put this butter
Need
here.
a little butter to
Well,
season
when we bring it in, we'll put the butter in there. So.
And you know, quite honestly, a little bit different from barbecue, where, you know, I'm a big believer in slow and low. This is fast and high. There were a lot of people, I've talked to people who cook steaks, they spend a lot of time on the grill. You know, they're cooking at lower temperatures, where we're cooking at a higher temperature. We probably won't have this steak on, but maybe about 3 minutes and 30 seconds on each side. And there'll be a turn in each one of those. So they'll only sit for about 1:45 before we change their position. Because we're gonna put grill grates, we're gonna put grates into this steak with grill marks with our grill grates. And that's the beauty about being able to do it with grill grates. It makes the steak has just a great presentation. But as Lisa said, what it also is the crispiness of the structure on the outside of the steak that's offering all the flavor. And so when we get done, we actually pull the steak, we're gonna pull it off, we're gonna put it in another pan, and we're gonna rest it for about 10 minutes and let all those juices come back in and settle down, and then we'll be able to cut that steak.
So he said we're gonna do 1:45 on a turn.
Right.
Okay, and the reason for that is because of where we're sitting on the steak is a little bit more than 16 ounces. Because we're pulling off at 128. We want a medium rare steak. We like our steak medium rare. So the time that we're giving you is based on what we want. We're gonna post a link to the Grill Grates temp chart. And if you're a medium steak lover, then you're pulling off at 136 because you do get carryover temperature during that resting period. So 128, when it's done resting, is gonna be about 133, 134, etc.
Right.
So are we ready to go grill this thing?
I am when you are.
I'm ready. You got a grill fork out there?
Got a grill fork ready to go.
Okay, and I've got a retrieval pan.
Okay.
And I'm gonna melt this butter and I'll meet you out there.
This, I put the charcoal in probably about 20 minutes ago. I started a chimney probably an hour ago, and we've got on our grill grates, as you can see, and we're running 720 degrees on this side right now. I did not put it all the way across. We're only running about 500 on the other side. So we're ready to cook. We've let the steak rest. We seasoned it. We trimmed it. Lisa talked about buying the right steak. And so the first thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna just put this steak on straight up and down, vertical. I'm gonna press the top on it. We're gonna start a timer, and we're gonna go for 1:45 seconds. Now, I want you to pay attention to this. We're gonna pop that up just a little bit. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna set it back down at just like a 45-degree angle. Actually, it's a 33-degree angle. You're gonna be serious. Press it back down. We'll start the timer again. Okay, now we're about ready. We've gone 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Once again, pop that deal up. Okay. And now then, we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna go back vertical. All right. And once again, what we're gonna do is go back to that 45 or 33 degree angle. You're at 67 degrees, right there. While we're here this time, we're gonna add just a little bit of butter to the top of the steak. Keep it nice and moist. Okay. What we're gonna do now, we're gonna take this steak off and we're gonna rest it. I'm gonna put a little more butter on this side. Just for convenience sake, let's do this. Just so you can see, you got grill grate marks both sides. Whichever side looks best, the one you're gonna turn up.
So Russell, you've grilled, look how beautiful. I'm glad the camera's here so they can see the grill marks and how juicy your steak is, and it's rested. It's quite beautiful. And this is gonna be a little bit more on the rare side because that's how we like our steak, and if that's not your preference, that's okay. But we're gonna pull our string off that we put on earlier to give it a prettier appearance. And then we're gonna take it out, take our little baby out. Ooh, baby's hot. Okay, so we talked about this being a tri-heart, and yeah, right here's the tri-heart. Give it a cut. It's a perfect medium. Looks great. Are we ready to taste it, honey?
Yeah, let's have a taste.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ready?
Ching.
Very good.
Delicious.
You'd definitely be pleased to serve this to your neighbors, or your friends, or your family.
It's really tender.
And, it just doesn't take a lot of time. It just takes knowing those 5 things that we talked about. Getting the right cut.
See it's perfect.
Yep.
The other thing is you see there's no gray here or here. So when it's been cooked evenly, you get that nice pink center. No gray around.
Yeah. Get the right cut. Take the time to let it rest. Season it well. Grill it to get the right crispness and doneness on the outside. Get the Maillard effect. How you say that? Maillard effect. And then just rest it a little bit.
Delicious.
And then enjoy.
Yeah, I was gonna eat that. Delicious. So from our table to yours, please take note of these 5 easy steps, and you too can make a world championship steak if you follow these 5 easy steps.
Do that one more time.
If you follow these 5 easy steps, you too can make a world championship steak. Using our Lisa steak rub, 5 easy steps, pick any steak, use these steps, and it's perfect.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna put a temperature guide on here too,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Hey, all I can say is get out in the backyard and get to cooking.
Delicious. From our table to yours. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you can get notification of our upcoming videos. We post every Thursday and you won't want to miss a single video.